dwell onto my subject today, which is bridging the gap between actuarial students and the industry. And in between that, I will actually be looking at some of the pitfalls, that actually actuarial students actually encounter in their careers, really. So I'll just try and mix those items here together. So the way that I've actually framed my talk is that just looking at the gap here between actuarial students and industry and the pitfalls that actually they encounter, I've had it into 4 particular areas. Area number 1 will particularly look at the expectations of the actuarial students. What exactly do the actuarial students really want? And I'll be using maybe some personal story, just to guide us through that particular section. And then section 2, I'll look at what the industry actually wants. And in that, I just mean, what is the expectation of your employer, really, as you come in as an actuarial student? Then I will look at some of the challenges, that are there. Should I say, the gaps that actually exist, and why we are seeing the challenges that are actually there in the actuarial profession here in Kenya, and it will also affect other East African countries. So it's not just a particular Kenya issue, really. But it will affect quite a lot of the other countries that are within East Africa. And then finally, just looking at the potential solutions here that could actually be coming through. John, you'll feel free to just tell me that my time is up. And if I do not actually finish within the slotted time, then I will actually be able to respond maybe during the Q&A time that I'll actually also participate. So just looking at the expectation of students as they actually intend to now to go to the work environment. Just looking at myself when I started my actuarial career, so that is 21 years ago. Coming out of university. I of course had my own personal expectations, really. Which were completely misguided, if I may say, the least. The key thing is that having a degree, I am not an actuary, I am a mathematician, so I did my degree in mathematics. So this actuarial team just, of course, came here as by the way, really. So having gotten a degree in mathematics and, of course, having strong inclination to be an actuary, my expectation is that being employed as an actuarial trainee in a company in Kenya, that I will be seated in a particular corner in that particular company and just crunch the numbers. Develop solutions, whatever solution that should be, price products, do reserving and things of that sort. So that was my heavy expectation of what an actuarial career really is. So crunching of numbers. Little did I know that there are actually quite a lot of other skills that I actually need to have. And I'll say that possibly the reason that I actually became disillusioned, and I was actually disillusioned about an actuarial career in my earlier stages, is that I did lack mentorship. I did not have somebody who would hold my hand, take me through the process and tell me this is what an actuarial career really entails. So I know that is one of the key expectation of an actuarial student. And Professor Weke talked about it and the importance of it, really. That without proper mentorship, I can tell you it is very difficult to actually grow in the right way in an actuarial career. So there are challenges in getting that mentorship actually in place, mainly because of the number of actuaries who are actually there. But having said that, I'd say that it should be a key requirement, if possible, for an actuarial student, to get opportunities where, of course, actuaries are, so that they can just mentor them through the processes, really. So for me, that is very key. It was an expectation. I liked it. I became very much disillusioned. But I do expect that actually going forward, things will actually get better. But another expectation that I had, and this is something that I know also with the students that I actually interact with, of course, I've been the patron of the student umbrella body, ASK, yeah, since its formation, yeah, that is in 2013 thereabouts. And I interact with students quite a lot, so I know what they do expect in terms of their career. So other than mentorship, I know a key thing is just to get the experience, really, getting to know how the technical stuff that they do study the university, or they do study from the professional papers they do. It's just getting to know how they can actually link that with the real work, environment is not straightforward, and that is where I'd say that even having mentorship actually really helps. But I can actually assure you that most of the items that you study at university, the theories that you do, combined with the professional papers, I can assure you that they have a place, in the work environment. A good example that I do give is on a matter like asset liability matching, really, which is a very important aspect of a life company, especially those ones dealing with annuities. Uh, it's important that you actually have your assets and liability properly matched. So you can ask a question as to how exactly we can get this into in our experiences, really. And one key connector, as an example, and I use this very frequently, is say the Remington immunization theory, which kind of try to protect your portfolio from very small movements in interest rates. It's a theory, but it plays a very important role. I can't say that it's a perfect model or a perfect theory, but at least it gives an idea of how you can use some of the theories that you have in the university studies or professional papers, and apply them into real life situation. So lack of that experience, normally gets most of the actual student really disillusioned. But I'd say that it is important, it is an expectation of an actuarial student to really just get to know how the theories actually work in practice. Another key expectation of actuarial students has always been the salary. The expectation is that being an actuarial student, doing all those difficult actuarial papers, that your expectation that you should also be getting, like six-figure salary package. Then you get to your place of work and your employer, who really does not even understand what exactly an actuary does, despite even being in an insurance company. And you quote to them a very big figure. Immediately that puts the employer just off quickly. And I think that's one of the biggest pitfalls that we actually see with actual students. I think it's a matter of managing expectation, really. So those are the key expectations: experience, mentorship, salary, but it's a matter of students actually seeing how they can actually manage those expectations. But I think mentorship plays a key role even as we try to actually manage the expectation. Now, when I come to what the industry really expects, what does an employer expect of you as an actuarial student? As I said, my expectation as a student was to sit in a corner and just crunch the numbers. But little did I know that actually the employers have a totally different expectation, really, of you. What an employer expects of you as an actuarial student or an actuarial employee is that you are a problem solver. And when we talk about problem solving, it is not just a mathematical problem, it is not just an actuarial problem. It is actually an all-round problem. This is where things that you actually learn possibly in your university education, definitely on your professional papers, what we call the actuarial control cycle. And you look at an actuarial control cycle, what does it actually say? So you divide, of course, you define a problem, then you develop a solution, you monitor how that solution actually works, and then review that process once more to see if it is actually working. But the key thing here, what you're actually saying is that as an actuarial student, of course, the expectation for you is to generate or to develop solutions to many problems which could not actually be actuarial. But if you can attach a value to a particular issue, if it is a risk problem, what value can you attach to that particular risk or things of that sort? That is possibly where an actuary can provide value to a particular employer. To me, that is very, very, very key. Yeah, because given the actuarial training that you actually have, the training through the process itself, it actually gives you ideas on how you can use data, use information to develop the models that you need to develop to solve a problem. Yeah, but the key thing is if you are able actually to go a step further and attach a value, yeah, to a particular issue. Let me give you a quick example of where an actuarial problem can actually, rather, a problem can come through that an actuary can really help, yeah, develop. And this is, say, for human resource. One of the key aspects of human resource is really to incentivize their staff to make sure that they can retain their staff for as long as they can. But how then do they actually incentivize, yeah, their staff? So HR practitioner can come to you as an actuary or actuarial trainee and tell you, we need some matrix that can actually help us incentivize our staff so that we can actually keep them, yeah, for long. So if you are, say, in an insurance company, yeah, one of the metrics that you can actually, yeah, apply, yeah, to incentivize the staff, it could be something what you actually call the value of new business, for example. Yeah, how can we use the value of new business, yeah, to really incentivize, yeah, the stuff is not that straightforward, but of course, the actual training has trained you, has given you, yeah, the training to actually come up with such, such rules. There could be something else that you can actually measure, yeah, to actually give the HR practitioner, yeah, one of the incentive that you can actually measure it so that at the end of the year, you see if it is working or it is not, and that is part of the actuarial control cycle where we are actually saying, assess what solution you've actually provided. If it is not working, how can we actually refine it? Do we need to change it altogether? I think that's very key. But for an employer, being able to develop solutions, yeah, that not necessarily actuarial, but using your actuarial skills, see if you can attach value so that at the end of the year, yeah, it can actually be measured. As they say, if you cannot measure, then it's very difficult to manage it. So the skills that you learn as an actuarial student is actually very key. Still, on what an employer actually expects, yeah, is very much the attitude of the actuarial student. As I began my talk, one of the key things that I actually said was that my expectation was that I'll sit in a particular corner in that office and just crunch numbers. And I held that particular position for a very long time. But modern employer, what they do expect of you is that you should be able to work in any part of the business that you're actually sent. And I think the biggest pitfall of actuarial trainees is that they believe that any other thing is not part of them. Them, they just have to get the numbers here right. So an employer comes to you and says, "Hey, I do require you to participate in this particular activity. It's a marketing activity. We want to roll out this particular, possibly a product to this market, but how do we actually go there?" And then asking you as an actuarial trainee, your views that marketing is not my thing. Yeah, let me just deal with the numbers, but marketing, give it to the marketers to actually do. That is potentially the biggest pitfall that actuarial trainees actually have, trying to lock themselves in a particular corner and doing the numbers, not knowing how those numbers actually impact the whole organization. So to me, that is very, very key. Yeah, that if us as actuarial trainees, and even myself, even being a qualified, actually, I'm still a trainee. I'm still learning quite a lot of things through my mentors, really. We have to go out and do things, not exactly what you've just been trained, but try and acquire new skills that could actually make us even more valuable to the company. So coming the third point about the challenges that actuarial students, particularly in East Africa, or should I specify actually Kenya? Yeah, the challenge that actuarial students really have. I do not think it is a recruitment problem, really. Initially, I thought it is a recruitment problem, that the employers are actually the problem. But actually, in real sense, it is more of a supply problem. And that is one of the key reasons here that we actually developed the minimum education standards that Professor Weke just talked about. What we want to assure, I want to be sure to give the employees that the students that we are actually providing to them as actuarial trainees, they do have the right skills. So that will actually mean that the education system provides quality actuarial students, because if we fail on that, and we have poor students actually getting into employment, then the reputation of the profession is significantly, at risk. So the problem is that, of course, it's a problem that we have to define. The issue is that we do have proliferation of actuarial science courses here in Kenya. So every university will be offering actuarial science. The question is, do they actually have the right resources to offer that particular degree? In my view, possibly not. And this is an area that we actually need to manage very well. So employers are actually having a big challenge in that. And we do think that possibly with the minimum education standards, maybe that problem can actually be managed. But what has happened as a result? So me as an employer at Sanlam, there could be an opportunity at Sanlam. I send out an advert saying that we need an actuarial trainee with this qualification. How many CVs do I receive? Now they come in hundreds, really. Hundreds of CVs coming through for one particular slot. What does that tell you? So if you are an employer, then you have to put a way in which you can see the number of students who are actually applying for that particular role. That is why we go as far as saying we'll need a student for this particular role to have at least 4 actuarial papers. Because you'll find them. There are plenty of them. Who are doing these papers. So it is not the best actually solution to the problem, but it is just the circumstances that we as employers are actually experiencing. I'm saying that it's not the best, mainly because some best student could actually not be able to afford some of these actuarial papers. So what should we actually do for those particular students? This is where, if we manage the education standards actually in Kenya properly, and we manage the number of students who are actually doing actuarial science. This is something that TASK should actually be doing, identifying those top students and see if they can actually support them pass a seat for these papers. It's not easy to do it at this time because just the number of students who are actually there is so significant. So I think that is the one area that we need to actually see how best we can actually tackle it. Then, of course, we have the issues of internship. There are not so many internship opportunities in Kenya. There could be many, but it's just that the supply side, of course, gives us quite a challenge. So it goes even as far as internship. We're saying that an intern should actually have this number of papers, which to me is quite unfair, but it is just the circumstances that we currently are having. So quickly, just as I sum up, is just on the solutions, that could be there. There could be several solutions to talk about, but I'll specifically talk to what TASK has actually thought about. And it is actually in 2 areas, which we worked on during my chairmanship of TASK. So one was actuaries getting an actuaries bill, and number 2 on the minimum education standards. I don't think I'm going to speak a lot more on the minimum education standards. Already Professor Weke did it very well. But I'll just quickly mention the actuaries bill. And just to mention here on that is that it is a challenge, of course, getting through the parliamentary process. Initially, when we initiated this particular project, that is even before I became president of FeASK. We thought this is something that can take 1-2 years actually to happen. But look, it is since 2018, and up to this time, we are actually not there. But the key thing is that we believe, and there's quite some concerted effort happening at this time behind the scenes to see that we actually realize that bill to be enacted by Parliament. When will that happen? I can't tell you exactly. That's something that the parliamentarians will actually decide for us, but we are putting that effort. But how will that actually help some of the problems that you're actually seeing? Number one, the bill will actually support or help us manage also the standards of education, training, through the minimum education standards. So we have the minimum education standards. What you're saying is that the bill will give us now the instruments, statutory instruments, to actually push those particular standards to the Commission of University Education. But more important is actually to see actuaries getting involved also in wider fields. So not just in insurance, not just in pension, not just in actuarial consulting, but let's just look at how the skills of an actuary can get into other areas, particularly on the public interest matters. As it was mentioned in my bio, is that I am a director at Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority. Yes, if you're asking, we are the people who actually increase the prices of fuel every other time. Hopefully, that is actually going to change at some particular point at time. But me being there, it gives me an opportunity to see areas where an actuary can apply the skills, which is totally outside the insurance and the pension area. So the expectation when I joined EPRA, that was last year, everyone was telling me, oh, Moses, you've joined EPRA, so we should actually be seeing the prices of fuel coming down. But there are a lot more mechanisms, a lot more dynamics to the pricing of fuel. But just being there, you are able to identify areas where you think an actuary can actually play a significant role. So it is not an immediate application of actuarial science, but my position being there is for me to open my eyes to areas where I think my skills can actually play a very big role in the advancement of rather improvement of the living standard of the society. So we hope that will be a position that will actually help us at some point here in future. I think I've actually taken a lot more time than I should have, John. So I'll just stop there. But then, of course, I will be available during the Q&A session so that I can take up any other questions that the participant actually will be having for me. Thank you very much.